So we played against our old friend Westerinen, the grandmaster from Finland. This time he preferred to play something quiet, not the King's Indian, like in our previous games. And we had the main variation from the Queen's Gambit, here. So Bishop G5 castle, E3, C6, the old variation, Rook C1. Here he played Knight BD7, Bishop D3. He took King C4, I took King C4, Knight D5. Okay, and after Knight D5, I took in E7, theory again. He took in E7, and I followed an old game like this between Alekhine and Capablanca, theory at this level now. And in one moment, I played a new move. I mean, I played a small improvement, which was very nice and very clear for white.
Alekhine was playing with white?
I don't know. I think Alekhine was playing with white, but anyway, it was a game between Alekhine and Capablanca at this highest level.
Yes.
Well, white won, a very instructive game, but in our game, I played even a little bit better after so many years. And after this game was clear that black has to avoid this variation, because it's very unpleasant. You suffer the whole game, and finally you have very big problems also in end game, in middle game, everywhere. Only white can win. Yeah, this is clear. So after Knight e4, he gave check in before, and at least we get a quiet game, and he has some hope to make a draw, somehow. If you continue normally with b6, it's much more complicated that white has even more than in our game, because we have all the pieces on board, The idea, the alternative, instead of giving check was to play b6, and after b6, white plays normally castle, queen e2, rook fd1, and so on, much better for white. Okay, so he gave check in before. So after checking before, the best move is to play queen d2, of course. Now he has time to take in d2, takes rook d8, all right. And now, okay, small advantage for white, but we have to try to win. Okay, bishop b3, knight f6, and now best move is to take in f6 and continue. More space for white, because now it's very clear how to play it with white. You put the other rook in d1, you put the knight in e5, and come with the 2 pawns, f3 and e4. Little by little, you win more space. And black has no counterplay for the moment. It's very, very unpleasant, the position for black. You have to defend all the time with no hope at all to try to play for, even for equality is very difficult, And white has always, some good game, more and more, with white. Oh, yes, so I took king e2. He has to wait all the time, Bishop d7, knight e5, okay, rook c8, f3, little by little, I told you, f3, bishop e8, rook c2. We want to put the other rook in c1 or in d1, depends, So rook d1. Okay, after rook d1, we want to play later on e4, king e3. Little by little, All right, so rook c7 has to defend, wait again. e4, so rook e7. Okay, for the moment, white didn't win, but it's a very big advantage, much more space, very unpleasant position with the king in f8 and the bishop in e8, you see, no counterplay at all. And white can prepare, all the time. So rook e7, king e3, yeah, and knight d7. That was his hope, Now, if you're obliged to take in d7, white is better, but it's very difficult to realize. The only good idea is to play rook and knight against bishop and rook. Only like this you can hope to win. Why? Because now, if, for instance, you don't take in d7, you play rook c, d2. But then he has time to trade many pieces, and it's almost impossible to win. You are much better, but probably it's not enough to win. You see? So you have to be careful how you try to realize the advantage.
So give the bishop for the
Now, you have to accept the fact that he played well until now. He defended very well. And you have to continue by playing quietly with a strong knight against a weak bishop. The idea for white is to put in one moment a strong knight in d6, you'll see, during the game. Okay, knight c4, knight c5. His hope, knight c5 is again very good move. He gives you the move and he has time to trade the bishop from b3. But in reality, white accepts the idea and plays later on with a strong knight with the idea to put the knight in d6, as I told you. See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, e5.
You prepare for that.
So now what to do? You have to take in b3. Okay, everything is forced. All right. And now again, he played the good move, c5. Now it seems that finally he could open a little bit the game for his, bad bishop from e8, but it's not enough. That is the problem. Now the game will be very instructive because we put the knight in d6 or in d4. We'll see. We have two possibilities to come with the knight in d4 or in d6 all the time, better for white. Again, it's forced. He took in d4, I took with the rook, and finally, okay, the bishop comes to c6. If you compare the position from we had a few moves before, it seems that black could, have a small counterplay, but it's not enough again. So, okay, b4. Again, the only move a6. Because if he doesn't play a6, b5. Much better for white again. And in this moment, the surprise, knight f5. Knight f5 is possible because, the rook from d8 for the moment is not protected. Now, if he takes in d4, we come with the other knight in d4. The knight from f5 comes to d4. We attack immediately the bishop, and we take the c file. And we have very good chances in endgame with our king coming to b6 maybe later on, Yeah. So, okay, the game again is forced. He took in d4, I took with the knight, of course, and has to put the bishop in d5. Now, we trade the good pawn from a6 now. He has to take in b5 now. Again, everything is forced. Has to take, we take with the knight.
He has to take because that pawn...
Because if we have time to take in a6, all kind of endgames are lost for black, We have time to attack with the king coming very quickly to b6, as I told you,
Yeah, but why not pushing the a...
Or we can push, of course.
No. The black one, why not...
If he pushes the pawn, we have time to push our pawn to b6. Yes. Then we win the pawn from a5 with rook c5, and rook takes a5, and winning endgame all the time, The knight from d4 is terrible, and, the endgame is completely winning for white. So, right, he took, and now back in... So you can see, we had the knight in d6. We put later on the knight in d4. Now the knight comes back to d6.
Yes.
The idea is very clear. We push the other pawn, b4, b5, and the position is completely Zugzwang for black. But it's almost unbelievable that you can have such a position only with rook and knight against rook and bishop. It's forced win for white in any position. Positionally, black is lost in every position now, you see.
How about if black push now the f6?
He pushed the f6 later on, you see.
Oh, okay.
He pushed the f6. And now, the last surprise, b4.
So
again forced. No, you don't take. You don't care. Now he has to take in e5. No, the only move. No? So, b5. Now he has to put the bishop only in d7. Because if he played bishop d5, now rook c8 mate.
Oh, yeah. You have made it.
So he has to put the bishop in d7. And now after bishop d5, the bishop d7 he has to put.
Yes. No, not true.
And after bishop d7, rook c7, Zugzwang. Has no move. If he plays bishop e8 now, rook c8, complete Zugzwang. The position is paralyzed for black, No move at all. So what to do? He has to make a move, here. The b6, and after bishop b6, king e4. Now we come with our king in e5, you see?
Yeah.
Again, complete, winning position for white without any counterplay, you see? But the position is unbelievable. The knight from d6, has such a strong position that he has no move at all.
So everything around the knight you play.
Around the knight from d6. Everything was, the idea for white was very clear from the opening, you see. When we accepted to play this variation, the idea was very clear. Such a very strong knight in the end game, and very good chances to win a game without any problem. Very quietly, but forced, So, okay, king takes e5, king g7, and now king rook b7, and okay, he resigned now here.
Not yet.
Played, not yet, okay. Okay, and now rook back and he resigned, no? Or not yet?
No, he resigned.
He resigned, but what to do? The idea is clear. b6, rook c7, b7. But the position is not to believe.
Yes.
Complete, Zugzwang. No chance at all. The bishop from d7 is like a pawn, as you can see.
Because he's pinned.
He's pinned. He has no moves. But
how about the rook here? If the rook is going on here,
g7. Okay, b6. Yeah.
Just a second.
Okay.
No,
he could give a piece.
No.
Rook g7. Okay, b6. And now?
I don't know.
Okay, he loses.
He still loses a piece.
He loses, but white could win immediately, taking in g7 and b7. Or you can even play, if you want to play rook c7 also, wins immediately, But you win a piece, no?
Yes.
After you win a piece, you win also the pawn from e6. Okay, a terrible position, no?
True.
But it's very difficult to believe that such a small advantage was decisive, because in any position was a small advantage, if you look,
Knight against bishop is the
small
equal.
edge, the more active position, better knight, weak bishop, central position for your king, bad position for his king, passive position for his rook, very active position for white rook. But it was enough.
Yeah.
With a few pieces like this.
Even so, you had double pawns.
Yeah.
But
everything was forced, more or less. This is unbelievable.
That's the beauty.
Yeah, in that year, it was considered one of the best positional games, worldwide, in the first 10 in the world, like this, this game. Because it was impressive, very small advantage, and in a few moves decisive, like this,
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, at the highest level, it's always like this.
Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
Yeah. Any leading grandmaster would win such a position, of course.
No, yes.
No, okay. We have the example, like here, right.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.